What made me fall in love with working with seagrass is because it is unique. Eelgrass specifically is the only thing fulfilling this niche of nearshore estuarine mudflats, creating an extreme biodiversity increase from just existing. And on its own, you know, just visually looking at it, it's just some grass in the water. But when you think of all the things that it's doing, all the things that it's impacting, it's really turning what would be a desert of just mudflat to a true meadow of life. And that is just kind of awe-inspiring. It's also kind of a secret. I wish a lot more people would know about it, but you don't really know it's there when you're looking at a bay or other estuaries. Seagrass is a really important function in environmentally speaking, ecology speaking. It creates a lot of 3D structure. You know, it's growing up out of the seafloor. And so that structure is really, really important to the marine environment. So as you can imagine, small fishes, crabs, shellfish are all living in that structure, which protects them from predation and other aspects of living in the marine environment. And so without seagrass, we'll have this essentially desert of just mud flats in our estuary. So it's a really, really critical component of creating a biodiverse habitat and protecting really vital species for the local community and industry. Seagrass is a really great carbon sequesterer, so it's a really vital tool to protect. It's always submerged in this soup of carbon and water, and so it's able to pull from the water carbon, and that also has the added benefit of not only carbon sequestration, but also local amelioration or benefiting of ocean acidification as well. So that's something that we are experiencing on the Oregon coast, is ocean acidification. Large patches of seagrass do have the capacity to locally increase the pH, which makes it less acidic, by just photosynthesizing. The thing that's causing ocean acidification is excess carbon in the water. And so that acidification can harm anything, larvae of a lot of important species, but also shellfish. Young shellfish can be really, really harmed by acidified waters. And so existing in a seagrass meadow can reduce that stressor. And so not only is it great in the big scale and the planetary scale, it's also really great at the local scale for these individual creatures that are living in the seagrass meadows. So Oregon eelgrass is limited in space. It is limited intrinsically. It is a plant, so it needs to be in the ground. So there's a very limited depth range in which seagrass can exist, but it can't be exposed to the air into extreme heat during the summertime a lot. It also can't be too deep, otherwise it's not getting enough light because this plant needs the light. And so it already has a very limited range where it can exist, and any stressors that also additionally limit that range can have problems on seagrass. Marine heat waves are a big stressor. Human impact is also a big thing. There's more people showing up to the coast and just causes more human interactions. Boaters, certain industries that use the bay, there's gonna be overlap, and that's gonna cause, you know, tension when there's just a limited amount of space that people can use. There was a big die-off in southern Oregon around Coos Bay, and it was just luck of the draw that we didn't get impacted from that. The marine heat wave didn't reach up here because we're just a little bit more north, but it's at this point not a matter of if, but when we experience something like that again. At the moment, we're fairly confident that and the large majority of seagrass in our bay is fairly healthy, but we want to keep that, and we want to make sure that year to year that is consistent, and if there's any changes, we want to be able to pick up on them. Seagrass is also, you know, it's carrying a lot of weight with the health of our estuaries. When you look at these bodies of water, not only just seagrass, but just acknowledging just how much life is existing under that water and how much humans from the beginning of time have relied on that resource. Respect your estuaries, but also be curious and get in the water yourself. Look at these things. There's a lot more going on than what meets the eyes from the surface of the waters.